how AI agents are changing the game for business.
So yeah, we're gonna keep going here, and let me call great experts in artificial intelligence that I learned a lot with those guys. They are my friends. I want to call Kenneth Corrêa, please. Please, round of applause to him. He launched his new book in MIT now in Boston 4 months ago. Yeah, do you have in English as well, right? Yeah, this is the book that he launched in MIT, Boston, USA. Great piece of knowledge here. And I want to call as well, I want to invite to the stage Fabrizio. He's a very expert and a researcher from London about AI, right? I learned a lot with him. Delphi.ai was a tool that I learned with you. And the next guest I want to call Conrado de Sá. Sorry, a round of applause please to Conrado. I'm sorry that I took so long to tell your name because De Sá is the last name of my ex-girlfriend, sorry. So I got 5 seconds of nostalgic. Oh really? Oh my gosh, let me stay away from you guys. No, just kidding. Guys, nice to talk with you. We have a seat for the robot as well. I don't know if you can take it here. Tenta ver se você consegue trazer o robozinho pra cá. But can you guys introduce yourself because I'm a biggest fan of you guys, all of you three, and I learned a lot with you and you about AI. And introduce to the audience, please.
Sure. Thank you very much, Tony. Thank you for Sigma for inviting us for this panel. I think we're gonna talk about a topic that's going around, is very hot, which is AI agents. I'm Kenneth Corrêa. I own a company called 80/20 Marketing. So for the past 16 years, I've been working with some of the largest companies that operate in Latin America, companies from Brazil, companies from other countries around the world. Also, we develop solutions by the use of AI. 3 years ago, around 3 years ago, we started using artificial intelligence in our own business operations. We have a 90 people operation based in Brazil. And now we are creating solutions for our clients as well. Some of those solutions are with the use of AI agents. And I'd like to just put a small nudge and say that we use multi-agent systems. So now the agents are interacting with one another. That's the topic that I cover in my book. It's called Cognitive Organizations. As Tony mentioned, I launched it last year at the MIT as well. So I'm glad to talk a little bit more about how AI agents are being applied to everyday operations from business in many segments.
Thanks, Kenneth. Hi, everyone. My name is Fabrizio. I am Brazilian, but you might guess from my slightly thick accent that I live in London, where I've been for the last 18 years. I moved to London and always worked with technology. And more recently, I spent 6 years in the largest venture builder, Blam Chalkot. He's a global venture builder based out of London, so working a lot with teams in India, in the US, in Europe. And recently I left to found my consulting company, Illumini, as chief AI architect, following these amazing years looking at how new ventures are built in the age of AI, as an expert in AI and digital products. So looking forward to talk about agents and sharing some of the experiences that we had in building the earlier versions of agentic systems.
Amazing. Yeah, it's a pleasure to be here. Thanks everyone. Thanks Sigma for the invite. And it's a pleasure again to be with these huge brains here. Yeah, my name is Conrado. I've been building a software house and product-led growth companies for the past like 12 years or so. And the last 3 years, actually, at the same time, I started to apply agentic technology to my own company. So I have like a software house and a kind of like a growth marketing agency. Started to do agentic to basically replace my own work. And then last year, around like 5 months ago, we launched agents which people can, actually has a token, so it's a crypto agents, and we can talk more about that. But it's a growth marketing platform that enables companies and founders to create their agents to create content for them, specifically for Twitter, because it's our main, so crypto and technologies is very well versed in Twitter. So that's basically it. You can create our agent on Twitter, create content for you.
Nice. Thank you. Microphone? Oh, hi. Nice. So you're talking about growth marketing, right? Oh my gosh. Can you explain to people what's growth hacking, what's growth marketing? Because different, right?
Yeah.
So explain very short, what's growth marketing?
For
What's
sure.
the difference?
So yeah, so growth marketing started with Dropbox actually many years ago when Sean Ellis, he started to do like experiments within the company. So we call marketing as like positioning, creating the branding, creating how people perceive you. But growth marketing is more about data and more about experimenting within the company fast things. And you do like 100 experiments. What works, you keep doing that. That's
Great, great. We are in the same WhatsApp group, right, about artificial intelligence. And I see that there are so many updates, so many new tools all the time about artificial intelligence. Many people here knows about ChatGPT, Midjourney, Claude, and so many others. But tell me, you two, Fab and Kenneth, what are the most new, the latest technologies in the AI world that you see, for example, today or this week, that maybe people don't know yet? Can you tell us?
Yes. On my side, I think I may be like 30 minutes late on the information because I've been around with you guys, and that's how fast things are happening in this space. So I think I could say that if we consider what I like to call the state of the art, large language models, I believe we have 7 runner-ups. We have ChatGPT, which were already mentioned. We have Google's Gemini, which launched, I think, 1 month ago, 2.5 Pro, which is the latest version that is around. We have Meta's, which is, I think that's the latest of the state of the art.
Llama 4.
Llama 4 is like 3 days old. Yeah, right. Mark Zuckerberg announced it on a Saturday. So that's the, I think, latest. You can try it out for free on your WhatsApp. You see the blue ring right there. Or you can connect to meta.ai. You test it out there. Llama 4, 4th edition. Then we have DeepSeek, of course, right? Remember, January 16, Donald Trump was taking oath, inaugurating his administration, and he's saying that the United States is the best country in the world and that they are the forefront leaders of AI. 4 days later, this small startup from Shenzhen arises. Even Xi Jinping, the president of China, even him had no idea that company existed.
Oh, wow.
And he found out about DeepSeek the same time that we did, when it went all around the news. Of course, the next day they had a meeting right away, because it's always good in a space race to have a big weapon against your largest enemy. So I think DeepSeek is another one. And I like to add on that list Claude by Anthropic, which is also from the Silicon Valley, which is my personal favorite, I'll tell you so. Of course, I use AI agents, multi-agent systems to write a book. Claude was my main agent there.
Oh, you wrote the book with AI agents?
Yeah.
Oh, 100%?
Of course.
Nice,
right?
man.
And some people come to me and say, but you use AI to write a book? And I say, well, I'm an AI specialist. I think that's the minimum you'd expect from me, right? That's what I talk about in the very book.
But you supervised all the AI work, right?
There were humans in the loop.
Okay.
So, for example, Fabrizio acted as an editor. So he's a human being, I promise you, not a robot. He was there as a part of the agent systems. Because when we talk about agents, a human being is also an agent. A human being has agency in the sense that it takes decisions. So that's true.
Let me get the book.
Okay,
I think he sold more than 1,000 copies.
Yeah.
And he wrote this with AI, supervising, right?
Yep.
But really, really cool. Look, this is the future, guys. Really, really cool.
And one thing is, when I wanted to publish on Amazon, I had to put an author. So I put my name.
Okay, cool.
But I acknowledge all the other authors that took part of it by constructing, by giving feedback.
It's fair.
Fair enough, right? Yeah, sure.
What
and the last model, so I finish, that I like, I just recently added to this, what I call the state of the art, is Grok by Twitter or X. Not Grok version 2, which is the free version, it's available. But if you pay for X, if you pay a monthly, I forgot the price, I think 30 reais or something.
It's 99 reais. I paid
99, 100
monthly,
reais,
yeah.
okay, $20 like the other ones. You get Grok 3, and that's, of course, on the state of the art. So those are the 7. Llama 4 being the most recent.
What do you think, Fab? What's the latest innovations in the AI world?
So I think I'll take a segue from Kenneth. We have obviously the large language models that have been advancing. They continue to advance. But what we're seeing as a sort of a next wave of evolution is the agentic systems, which is the path to AI agents. And the agentic systems, they use multiple LLMs. You could have a system that is using a combination of Claude with an OpenAI model, sometimes with smaller models, but it's a much more complex architecture that uses lots of these to deliver a more complex task. So one of the spaces that we've been watching very closely is the software development space. So you can develop software a lot faster today, and it started, the first revolution was with GitHub Copilot, which was using the early models of OpenAI. But last week I was testing Replit, which is one of the latest cool tools in the market. And Replit allows you to give an instruction. The agent will go away, create a plan for how to build that software, the application that you want, build it for you, and then it takes about 10 minutes. There's lots of LLM calls happening behind the scenes, and it brings it back to you. So it's using these LLMs as building blocks to create something that can deliver a task that is a lot more complex, but delivers a lot more value in 10 minutes or 5 minutes.
Great. If you guys have any questions, just raise your hand. This is a conversation, okay? So raise your hands. You can participate of the conversation here. It will be a pleasure. Okay, so how many of you are from outside Brazil? Please raise your hand. Outside Brazil. 2, 3, 4. The guy over there. Okay, Fab, still on you. You lived in London 18 years, right? Do you think in London or United States that you go a lot, or in Brazil, not in Brazil now, but in London, United States, in all the countries that you guys go, do you think they are ahead from us in terms of knowledge of AI, in terms of technology, or do you think we are all in the same level? Brazil, London, United States, and all the countries that you already visited?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. So I've been in the startup and venture building ecosystem for pretty much the last 10 years. And what we've seen, especially now with AI, is a decentralization of the hubs of innovation. You have in the space that we're talking about for software development, one of the coolest tools at the moment is Lovable.dev, which is a Swedish company. You have
Lovable.dev.
Yeah,
okay.
It's another alternative to Replit or GitHub Copilot or Cursor AI. There's a number of startups that are coming out of India. They're coming through accelerators, incubators, including Y Combinator. So Y Combinator is not just fishing in the Silicon Valley area anymore. They're looking for startups in India, probably in Latin America, in Asia. So what AI has unlocked is that anyone with a good understanding of a problem, who has just a little bit of access to technology, they can build amazing businesses in any corner of the world. So I think there is, obviously, you have the building blocks, which are the large, big LLMs. This market is very competitive and difficult to enter because you need a lot of money. So you've got China, you've got France, you've got US, you've got a few of them. But to build on top of that, it can happen anywhere. And we're seeing that happening, and we're seeing amazing tools sprouting everywhere across the world.
What do you think?
I have a question, Conrado. I have a small team of developers in my company, but I think you're working with a larger team. I know Fabrizio has been working with more than 500 people on the venture builder as well. How about vibe coding? Is that something? Is that something in your teams, in the operations?
I love that question. Actually, we do have clients that are big, but our company, we are at 14 right now. So it's quite small because we do use AI a lot. We use Cursor every single day to build pretty much everything. So vibe coding is when you don't need to actually code, you just talk to a program, to an LLM, but you're actually talking to Lovable.dev or V0 from Versal, it's also very good, or other ones that you don't need to know how to program. You're just talking and he's doing the programming for you. So we kind of don't do much for now, but I do because I'm not a programmer. So I try to use every single tool because I think that's the main thing that I say to the guys. Like, guys, you got to use AI. And not only AI, like the LLMs, to talk to ChatGPT and him give you an answer, but try to apply agentic technology, which is basically doing stuff for you. Because as you guys said, like 30 minutes from now or 1 year from now, we're gonna be miles ahead. So I do think vibe coding is the future. And in the future, it's more about knowing how to prompt, more like a prompt engineer thing, knowing how to talk to the LLM, and also identifying which LLM is good for each thing. So Claude, you said, is very good for writing, but Gwen is very good for mathematical problems, or it's cheaper also for mathematical problems. Claude is pretty expensive.
We didn't mention Quen before, but that's Alibaba's large language model.
Which one?
Quen.
Quen,
QWEN.
Alibaba, yeah.
Do you think it's a state of the art? Quen 2 would be in the top of the list?
I think so, just because it's so cheap and it gives you like quality results for math problems. But for us, since we're doing content marketing, we use Claude 3.7 most of the time, which is the best one. But we also use Perplexity Deep Research because it's the only one that has the API integration for deep research. So we create content, then we validate the content with deep research, then we post about it to validate the data.
Love it. Perplexity used to be my secret go-to API as well. It took them a little bit to release that as part of their API, but once they did, it was amazing. Yeah, Before that, I was using one similar called Exa AI. That was my alternative, but Perplexity is a lot better now. So.
But let's try to summarize here so people can understand. Tell me in one word, because when you say AI, we are talking about big, huge markets, right? We have Claude, that is a competitor of ChatGPT. We have Gemini, there's another competitor. So summarize in one word. If I say ChatGPT, which word do you choose? If I say Claude, which word do you choose? The strength of it. For example, Claude, coding. ChatGPT, general use, for example. One keyword, actually. When I say, for example, Gemini, what's the keywords that you remember?
For me, it's health.
Health. What about you, Fab? Gemini. What's the purpose of Gemini in the market?
I see Gemini is it's good for long context. So if you want to, one of the applications that we use a lot is you feed a lot of information and then you have a conversation, right? Which is what we call grounding. So you can ask a question without giving it context, and it will give you an answer based on what it's been trained on. What we like to do is to give it a lot of context. Could be a PDF file, Notebook LM, great tool. So I like to use Gemini if I have very large, complex things. So I could feed Kenneth's book as a PDF. It's got a few hundred pages, and I can ask questions, and that's going to be very on point.
And it's free, right?
And there is a free version,
Yeah.
And Gemini has the largest context window in the market. You could feed 1 million tokens, which is like, many hundreds of thousands of words.
Conrado, what's the strength of ChatGPT in your opinion?
Okay, so one word for each. I would say Gemini is enterprise.
Enterprise.
I would say Claude is for writing, so content.
Text or programming. Code.
It's content. It's
content.
Like, Claude is very good at interpreting what you're saying and creating a content that makes sense for people. So that's why he wrote the book with it, because he talks in a way that is human-like. And ChatGPT general.
Those are competitors, okay? ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, they are competitors. Okay, Grok. Grok is from Elon Musk, the AI of Elon Musk. For me, they're really, really good in creating images, realistic images. They're really, really good on that. And they organize all the features that they have in the top, in the tabs. They are good in organization, in my opinion. So user experience, actually.
Can I add to that?
Yes.
Because we work with Twitter a lot. Our companies focus on that. So Grok, it's a little bit behind the others in our studies.
But in general purpose or images, text, depends.
As well, because ChatGPT actually released, and as you mentioned, they released the image generator like last week. And they got like
heartbeat, right?
Yeah, they got like 1 million users in 1 hour, 1 million plus users in 1 hour because of the Studio Ghibli thing that released, and it became really, really good. It's amazing.
I know, but in practical terms, when you go there and click once and generate the image, in my opinion, as I tested last week, I think Grok is more realistic. It's ChatGPT is better, diversified, but I think Grok.
ChatGPT now is better if you want to change an image style.
Oh yeah.
And also to add text into the image. So you can say like, make the cover of my book with text. You'll be able to do that.
Yes. So as you can see, guys, each and every single AI tool have a specific superpower, have a specific strength. So we don't use ChatGPT for everything we could, but if we use Claude, in my opinion, it's better for coding. If we can use Perplexity, but it's not for everything, it's not good for everything. So there are strengths, right?
I think it's a great segue to pull back into the realm of AI agents, because what agents are doing is exactly leveraging what each one of the models is best for.
Perfect.
So you can combine them, right? If you have an AI engine, if you're building a product to create social media content, you don't need to use the same model for everything. You can use 10 different models, and you give it instructions to a coordinator, which is in itself and part of the agent or an agent, and it will deliver the tasks. You say, okay, I need you to create an image, maybe create one using Grok and one using OpenAI's model, and then you have another model that verifies and choose the best. Then you have another one that is going to ask Claude to create a piece of content and ChatGPT to create another one, and then we'll give it to Grok to roast and see what's best. So there's a lot of things happening behind the scenes that eventually delivers something that is richer than any one of the LLMs. And I think that's the real power of the agents.
And about that, Fabrizio, when DeepSeek was launched, actually the model, we were talking about DeepSeek, I think 6 or 7 months before the major announcement in January. But what they actually announced in January was the reasoning model. I think it's worth mentioning that because it has everything to do with Fabrizio is saying.
What's a reasoning model?
I'll tell you right now. Because when you use ChatGPT and you ask a question, you are inputting words, and you're getting words back from one large language model. Now, when you use ChatGPT 4.01 or 4.03, which is the latest models, once you ask a question, or I mean, when you input the token, before it gives you the tokens back, it generates like an internal conversation. I think it's very hard not to make a comparison with human beings, but it's like somebody asks you a question, before you jump into the answer, you turn around and you think about it. Okay, so he's asking me about AI agents. AI agents are the future. So if that's the future, how do I... You reason, you conflict ideas, you check for errors, you roast your own ideas like, oh, I don't think that's a good thing to say because the person sounds smart, so I'll make it a little bit deeper. And then after the reasoning is done, after the large language model decides that's a good answer, that's when it replies to you. So it takes more time, it consumes more tokens when we are using in the background of a software, but the quality of what you get in the end, and that's one of the secrets that I had in my book. Because when Fabrizio and I were working on the book, there were no reasoning models available.
Oh my
so
gosh.
we created...
When was it?
We working...
1 year ago?
It took
September
us 50 days. So yeah, it was launched in September, so this was mid-July and August. So what we did is we created a reasoning model manually because it didn't exist. But we were already seeing the benefits of putting the LLMs to fight.
That's
you
nice.
know, when they're fighting each other. So now reasoning models are all around. You can use reasoning models on Grok, on Perplexity, on ChatGPT, on Claude. They all have this option for the model to think, which is a strange word for a computer, but to think before it answers back.
Tell me your favorite tool and how can people access it. So, for example, Claude.ai.
Yeah, I think... Again,
favorite AI tool.
ChatGPT is the first place to go. You never used it. You're not using it.
How people can access?
You guys tested ChatGPT, right? Raise hands. You guys tested ChatGPT? Awesome. Your best friend.
Your best friend.
But let me ask a second thing. Who here has used ChatGPT today? That's half the crowd. You know, that's the problem. Because when I ask you if you have used it, of course you're going to raise your hand. It's a technology.
Yeah.
You're going to feel like, oh, gosh, I'm embarrassed. You should have used it. But if you have not used it today, you're not gathering the benefits. You only get more productive when you use the tool. So ChatGPT is the first go-to place. But since Tony asked me to comment on my favorite one is Claude. As of right now. So you can go on Claude.ai. Claude is AI.
And it's free, right?
That's it has a free
Limitations,
tier.
yeah.
If you start conversing with it, it may stop you and say, "Come back tomorrow," as ChatGPT does sometimes when we don't pay for it.
So Claude is your favorite
Claude
one.
would be
Okay,
my favorite.
what's your favorite one? AI tool.
So there's a tool I've been playing with last week, and I think I shared in the group my experience with it. They're still releasing it gradually, but it's called Manus.ai.
Manus.
Yeah, Manus.ai is already an an agent as they call, similar to Operator that ChatGPT launched, which I tested as well last month. And Manus is substantially, incredibly better, I found. What it does is you give it a task, it will create a plan based on that task. Then it opens a window, goes on a browser. So let's say you want to buy that ticket that you need to go on that trip last minute. And it's like, gosh, find me the best ticket, the cheapest ticket you can find to get me from Sao Paulo to Orlando. And it will go and open Skyscanner and Google Flights and do all the research and compare them and come back to you. It takes 5 minutes, it takes 10 minutes, it takes 20 minutes if it needs. You can see all happening in the browser. It opens many windows, many tabs. It does the whole thing and gives it back to you. So it's incredible.
How people can access it?
So it's manus.ai, manus.ai. They're releasing to more users quite quickly now. So I really
Wait list, right?
Yeah, a wait list. I really strongly suggest you go in, get in the wait list. It's taking just a few weeks to get in.
Those are experts, guys. So write down those names and go to the websites that you're gonna like it. What about you, Conrado? What's your favorite AI tool and how people can access?
So, love the Manus. I didn't get my hands on it yet, so I'll talk to you. Maybe I get a special invite. And also about the reasoning, just a couple minutes. So it's very interesting to see the reasoning, to see the LLM's reasoning. So if you do deep research, which is just a feature, or if you look at Perplexity that does this, or Gwen, you look at how they think and they talk to each other, it actually looks like a human being talking to each other. It's amazing.
Nice.
It's an amazing experience. You're going to learn a lot by just looking at how the LLM reason by itself. It's impressive. And the tool that we're using the most, actually, it's more a B2B tool. It's harder for you to use on a daily basis, but it's Crew AI.
Crew.ai,
So
yeah, we are big
using
fans.
this to create our agents for them to interact. And then we have one agent that verifies the data, one agent that verifies the content, one agent that scrapes Twitter, and they talk to each other to get to the final answer, and then the agent that actually does the posting. So Corrêa is really
It's
good.
from a Brazilian guy, right? The founder.
It's a Brazilian guy, yes.
Yeah,
And
Crew.ai.
Be in São Paulo in a couple of days speaking here.
Yeah, nice. Anyone have questions here? Just raise your hands if you want to ask anything about AI. Those are the guys. And what about you, man? What do you think? He turned the light on. But you see, there is a small hole here. The robot have speakers and microphone, and soon he will talk. So I promise that I'll bring back here the robot so it can talk and debate with us, okay? Great. So I asked about the latest things about AI. I asked about the favorite tools. If you guys have any questions, please ask now. But
I think I could add to what Conrado mentioned, this idea of putting the agents to talk to each other and they look like human. I have an example that was my first try of Crew AI. This is back in January 24. And Tony loved this example. It's because on my company, I have a board that I invite more experienced people so we can talk about our business and how to grow and the strategies we should work with. But this is a human being board.
just a second, guys. What he's talking now, it's one of the most important things in the AI world, and he will teach you how to do that. So pay attention. 6 seconds. This is a great tip that almost nobody is using in the world and can aggregate a lot of value in your company and in your board members, right?
So I created a replica of my board members with AI agents. So it's a crew that they can figure out which agent to call depending on the problem that we have in a company. So at the beginning of this year, we're creating this strategy for 2025 for the company. So now my board members, the human beings, they were busy. They couldn't make it to the date that we're going to organize a meeting. So what I did is I replicated them based on their past feedback for my company. And I thought I could add some specialists to the board. So I put, for example, to discuss strategy, a guy named Michael Porter, which is probably the father of business strategy. Then we were discussing marketing, and I invited over Gary Vaynerchuk, which is a guy that I like a lot, so he's in the board as well.
He was in Sigma events a couple of years ago as well.
Yeah, that's awesome. So I put these guys as part of the crew. Now I get my plan, or my draft of a plan, and I send it over to them. And I say, okay, guys, this is what I want to do in 2025. Now I'm getting feedback from not only the board members I already had, but now Michael Porter is chipping in. And he's saying what he thinks. And I created this agent with his books and articles. So he is grounding his responses and ideas on what actually Michael Porter wrote. So imagine those guys are now adding to my strategy. So even the strategy of writing and publishing the book at the MIT was actually one of the agent's idea that I went on and worked it for the engine. So now we are working for the robots, Tony. So the idea
really nice.
of exchanging ideas in a group using this tool called Crew AI, which would be my recommendation.
Or another tool, Dust.tt, that you can create agents in 20 seconds. Dust.tt is 27 euros a month. In 20 seconds, you create Albert Einstein, you create Socrates, right? You create Michael Porter, and add everybody to discuss and try to solve a problem to you. It's
Like
really
it's
cool.
a WhatsApp group chat with Socrates, right?
Yeah, oh
That's
my
what you're
gosh, it's
getting.
really cool.
Can I get a show of hands? Who is on the technology side here? Okay, we got what you would normally expect, maybe what, 10%, 15%. What is really interesting about what we're seeing now is that with all these tools, technology and AI is accessible to everybody. So what they were just saying, you could do a simple version of that, and you could get your strategy, and you could upload it to Gemini, and you could upload a, maybe some work by Socrates, or maybe some work from Sun Tzu, and you can start asking questions. So you don't need to write code to do that. You can just use these tools. And what Conrado mentioned earlier, what is going to be the differentiator is you building the habits of how to work with AI. We're in a world of collaboration with AI. At the Venture Builder I used to work, we had a rule where you were not allowed to share anything with anybody unless you've battled it out with AI first. So if you're presenting a deck, if you're presenting an idea, the first idea we come up with is very rough, is very raw. By throwing it at ChatGPT, by throwing it at Gemini, you get a much better version. And when you share that with another person, you're already creating that collaboration 5 times faster, 10 times faster. Yeah, because as Tony said earlier, when he was showing the example of Delphi, our time is very scarce. Our time is very expensive. And you can do that collaboration with yourself and create something better and share that with another person. And this is how Kenneth created this book in 50 days, and we had a bit of back and forth, and we did some reviews. We were using AI all along, and it came out really interesting, really nice. It's readable because we had that human creation, but the bulk of the initial work was done with AI. So this is the mindset that we need to change, and the tools are here. It's great to see Tony sharing so many of them. I'm pretty sure you all have your favorite tool from this talk, and it's about creating that habit that is going to change the way that you're going to deliver value.
Just adding to that, actually the CEO of Shopify, which is one of the biggest companies in the world, he tweeted yesterday, actually he sent an internal email that leaked, and then he tweeted yesterday that for you, if you work at Shopify and you want to grow your team, you want to hire someone, you have to prove that AI cannot do your job first.
Wow,
yeah, exactly.
This is heavy, man.
You have to actually prove. And so they're focused on AI. So it's going to, no, I wouldn't say, and it's a question to you guys as well, like in the future of replacing jobs or creating new jobs, that thing. It will replace a lot of jobs for sure if you are against AI, if you're not using it, if you're not only daily like trying new things. One of the biggest CEOs in the world, one of the big companies in the world just said that you actually need to prove it. You need to prove to him and prove to your team that AI cannot do your job. So you need to be testing that on a daily basis, right? So a question to you guys, like, what do you think about that in the new businesses that will come, and also adding a layer of LLMs against each other and building on top of that, because we are building a business on top of LLMs, right? So what do you think that LLM competition will be?
I think we mentioned agents talking to customers. You talked about writing code, which is awesome. But I'll tell you like an unexpected, I talk about the board members, but I'll talk about an unexpected place where AI agents or agentic system is helping out a company. I work with a company which is a meat packing factory. Kill cattle and turn that into picanha. That's what they do. And they installed a new factory with state-of-the-art equipment. They bought it from Italy, Germany, China. And this is now all in the factory. And this is what they call Industry 4.0. All of these machines as part of the factory, they have sensors, they have measurements of what the machine is doing. This is actually done so you can generate data from your operations. Now it's all installed, but this company doesn't have, they were not able to hire data scientists, which is a talent which is very scarce, very hard to find data science to work for your company. So what we did is we created a multi-agent system of data scientists. We got the manual, there were 5 different machineries on the process. We got the 5 different manuals and uploaded that to 5 different agents. So now we have one agent, which is a specialist for that single machine. And then using Corrêa, we get an orchestrator. In business terms, would be the manager. We got a manager, that's actually the real name, right? The manager LLM, which now gets feedback from each one of the 5 agents. So imagine, the factory is running, and they're generating data. That's the volume of production. That's the kilo of each slice of meat. That's the color of the meat and all that. So the manual has the operation limits, under and top. Every time one of the machines starts operating outside of that range, outside of the safe expected range, it sends a message to the orchestrator, this is 100% AI. So now the orchestrator evaluates, okay, is this too out of range? Maybe 1%, 5%, all right. No, this is 50% out of range. Then it sends a WhatsApp message to a human in the loop, to a human being, which is on the factory, who will walk down the aisle and check on the machine. So now you've got AI doing the hard work, which is consuming this data. They run it in cycles of 15 minutes. So in a day, it's like 80 different cycles for each machine, 5 machines, 400 cycles of data analysis with no data analyst in place. So this is the sort of implementations of AI agents, multi-agent systems we're seeing inside companies. So it's all
nice. Conrado, do you have any example on how to use AI in your company or in another company that you see?
Sure. For us, it's mostly content. So working with creating content for other companies and marketing for other companies for many, many years, it's just repetitive work. Like we are always like hiring new influencers, finding new influencers, creating like copywriting every single day, like posting things on Twitter. You have to post dozens of times. You have to post on TikTok, on Instagram, all that stuff. So we are basically replacing that 100%. Like our Twitter account is already fully automated. If you go to Acolyte AI on Twitter, every single post is fully automated. And we are starting replies. Actually, my CTO is there, Vinny. We're starting replies this week.
Where's Vinny? Over there?
Yeah,
nice.
He's the guy that's actually building stuff, you know. I'm only speaking.
A round of applause to Vinny, please. Come on. Yes.
Yeah. That's the brains. That's the brain. So, so basically, we automate replies, and we're automating sending DMs to people. So actually, we're creating content, and then we're actually finalizing the sale over time, because AI agents, they don't get mad with you. They have infinite patience, so they can be talking with you for months until a sale close, you know?
Great. I have an easy question because we just have 2 minutes, so it's very fast to answer this. It's very easy. This go to Fabrizio. What do you think about the jobs in the future, man? Because of AI. It's very easy to answer, right?
He gave me
very light.
Yeah,
question,
very light
right?
question. I mean,
Second.
because of the AI,
gave me
right?
the hot potato. Okay.
5 seconds to answer.
So
Again.
I'll give you an international perspective, because I've been seeing a lot of this happening in India, in Europe, in the US. there's no doubt that it's going to be a massive disruption in the job market. Okay, we're already feeling it. We're already seeing it. Conrado just mentioned what the CEO of Shopify said yesterday, and he just verbalized what every CEO is thinking about. And we've seen a slowdown in hiring in many places not because they don't know what they need. They know what they need, but maybe they need a data scientist that doesn't exist because it needs to be specialized in that machinery and that kind of operation. Maybe they need a developer, maybe they need AI folk, maybe they need AI infrastructure people. But also, all the other disciplines, what should I do? Should I wait for the agent that's going to pop up and solve the problem for me? Should I invest in building it ourselves? So what I'm seeing is the large businesses, they're debating a lot of this. They're working with a lot of consultancies to try and understand the roadmap. They are hiring, though, anyone who has any substantial expertise with using AI tools. You don't need to be an AI specialist or a developer, but if you're going through an interview process today and you're not using AI and you're not showing that you can use AI, then you're definitely out. You're not going to get through. The other thing that we're noticing...
Actually, out for using AI, I saw in Instagram, how many of you saw it? A person that created a digital avatar and go to the interview. You saw that? So you need to be careful as well.
Yeah,
I don't know if you should be careful. I think we should hire that guy, man.
Yeah,
if
man.
he's able to do that,
If he applies to the
You're
right
right. You're right.
I think the other side of it is we're in an incredible time of economic change and innovation. We've never seen this before in our lifetimes. So it's a fantastic time to start businesses. If you've got an idea, if you understand the problem deeply, it is the best time to start a business, just to start a startup, to start a new company, because these large corporate organizations, they want to work with innovative people. They want to work with people who are willing to take the risk and explore and create some of these tools. And when they look at it, like Kenneth was saying, he created that for one of the largest meat producers in the world, and they're in love with it. And then they want more. And then you're creating a whole new ecosystem, an economic virtual cycle. I think that's where we are at this stage, and we're just at the beginning.
Yeah, do you guys agree with that?
100%.
Yeah.
Sure.
Great. Do you guys have any other questions? We have just 1 more minute to end the conversation. If you have any questions, please raise your hand now. Is now or never? No, it's now or never. We can ask questions over there as well.
I think they're shy because of our fifth
Oh,
member
the robot.
here.
Yeah.
I know how it is.
So, guys, thank you very much to be here. You guys were awesome. And if you have the last phrase, the last anything that you want to say, because you have only 1 minute more to speak, please say so.
Adding on to what Fabrizio said, it's the greatest time to be alive and to be creating stuff that we were never possible before those tools came about. I think the only worst thing that we can do is try to think that 2025 is going to be like 2024. That's not it. It's a different ball game. Go for it. Go for the year.
Nice. Thank you. What about you, Fabrizio? Last words.
Stay curious. Just do it. Don't second guess yourself. Don't give in to fear. Everybody's on the same boat. Everybody's having the same questions and doubts that you have, and you're going to get ahead if you do it. You might get it wrong the first time, the second time, the third time, but by the time you try it the 10th time, there are some people that haven't even started. So just start now, because in 2 years you're going to feel it's too late.
There's nothing that I agree more. Everybody's in the same boat. Big techs, small techs, startups. My grandmother, everybody's in the same boat. We are learning together.
Yeah, and I think we have the opportunity, like we here, we are just smaller, so we can go faster, we can try everything that is out there. So I would say one thing, just try to build a business from scratch for yourself, like just to solve a problem for you. So think about a problem that you have, go to ChatGPT, talk to him, like create a prompt for me that's best for you. So ask him how to create the best prompts for the other tools. And then after you do that, go to lovable.dev or V0, which requires zero code experience, and talk to it. Just create this program for me, and we'll do that. And then you learn how to prompt and to kind of understand how to code a little bit because it shows you it codes in real time in your face, and try to build to solve a problem that you have. Try to do that, and then you improve a lot.
Great. Thank you very much, guys.
Thank you.
See you later.
Guys.
Thank you.